Participants, we will take another 2 more minutes um, to admit other people who are coming in just now. And this is whichever part of the world you are in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this series of Asian Ecotourism Network webinars, which are highly educational webinars. If you continue to attend these webinars, you will learn a lot from the stalwarts of conservation, ecotourism, and people who've been practicing ecotourism, have been teaching ecotourism, have been involved in framing the concepts as we go along. So welcome to our webinars. Today we will have three speakers, three stalwarts from different parts of Southeast Asia talking to you on different topics. Let me explain to you some rules and regulations of this webinar. You will have to keep your mics on silent, keep your videos off if you like, and each presenter will present for about 20 minutes. And this will go on for about an hour, the three presentations. After the presentation, we will take a 2-minute break. If you'd like to stretch your legs, go get a cup of coffee, you could do that. And then we will come back and we will have a 30-minute question and answer session, 10 minutes with each participant. I ask you to maintain, absolute silence, because if you're silent, you'd be able to hear everything that the speakers are talking about. Feel free to take notes. If you think that you want to use the chat box for asking questions, please go ahead and do it. But those questions will not be answered right there and then. They will be answered during the Q&A session. People who stay on till the end will be given a form in the chat box, which you'll have to fill up. As soon as you fill up the form, we will be giving you e-certificates on email, and you will have the certificates that will mark your presence here. So it'll be good for you to stay throughout the webinar, because this webinar is about you. This is about our planet. This is about our substance. This is about learning from the stalwarts who spend their lives, curating these knowledge modules. So to be with them and enjoy while you learn. So that's how we're going to start. Dinda, can you just take on admitting people in, because that sort of takes my attention away. Today we've got our chair, Masaru-san, Mr. Masaru Takayama, and I would like him to say 2 words about this webinar and also briefly introduce Asian Ecotourism Network. Over to you, Masaru-san.
Thank you, Mohit-san. Very good morning, Asia. I suppose I'm now in Japan, so I'm ahead of a lot of you. 11 a.m. now. It is a very good opportunity, as it says, AEN Exchange Learning Webinar. So that's including me, and we want to learn from all these best practitioners in ecotourism in Asia. So I'm hoping that this will bring you some insights to improve what you do on the ground as well, and hopefully that you can make this as a multiple effect, and hopefully you can also give us the feedback on how you felt and the impression of the webinar. So we are looking forward to coming and getting to know you better too. Thank you so much. Back to you, Mohit-san.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. So, friends, what I'm going to do is quickly put the link in the chat box of Asian Ecotourism Network. So you know that the link to the website is there, and you can choose to browse through it at a later stage when you have time. And in the meantime, let me quickly introduce Asian Ecotourism Network and its mission to you. So, through Asian Ecotourism Network, which is AEN, that's the acronym, we will provide more hands-on connections and relevant opportunities for members working together at a regional scale. AEN will provide more networking and business opportunities, significant information, educational materials, and networking prospects to both small and large organizations within Asia. AEN is a regional initiative of Global Ecotourism Network, and it is in line with GEN's mission, Global Network Ecotourism Network's mission. So so the mission is to connect AEN stakeholders for knowledge transfer, consulting, marketing, and business development to achieve sustainability. The stakeholders are communities, private and public sectors, tourism and hospitality sectors, NGOs, and academia. Those who are new to ecotourism, let me explain what ecotourism is in a nutshell. Ecotourism is responsible travel to natural areas that conserve the environment, socially and economically sustains the well-being of the local people, and creates knowledge and understanding through interpretation and education of all involved, including staff, travelers, and community residents. So the principles of ecotourism, quickly. The label ecotourism is often applied to tourism activities. I'll repeat. The label ecotourism is often applied to tourism activities that fail to meet the definition and basic behind it. Ecotourism is non-consumptive, non-extractive, which means it's regenerative, creates an ecological conscience, holds eco-centric values and ethics in relation to nature, good for both visitors and visited. Ecotourism is not what it is not. Hunting tourism, mass nature tourism, only staying at a sustainable hotel or eco resort. So that's not what it is. Now, quickly about the mission statement. I've read it before, but I want to say it again because I want our visitors to be in line with the mission of what Asian ecotourism is up to. So we want to connect AEN stakeholders for knowledge transfers, consulting, marketing, and business development to achieve sustainability. And the stakeholders are communities, public sector, private tourism and hospitality sectors, NGOs, and academia. We want to create new strategic plans. We want to have action plans. And you will find about, a lot of this information is already there on the website. I suggest that when you have time, you sit for about half an hour with a pen and paper and go through our website, which will be very, very meaningful to you. And I invite you to become members of AEN because you will have such opportunities a lot more in number as we go along. Thank you. So that was a bit about AEN. I will now quickly introduce our first speaker. That's Dr. Jennifer, and she's going to take the lead, and then we will have the other two speakers. I'll introduce them as we go along. The topic of Dr. Jennifer Chan Kim Lian is sustainable ecotourism in the post-pandemic era, and she's going to highlight issues, challenges, and directions. So Dr. Jennifer is Professor of Tourism and Hospitality, Faculty of Business, Economics and Accounting. Currently, she's the Director of the Borneo Tourism Research Center, University of Malaysia, Sabah. She received her PhD in tourism and hospitality management from University of it's a little tongue twisting, and in Scotland, UK in 2005. Before joining University of Malaysia Sabah, she has 10 years of experience in the tourism industry, travel operation, and held an executive position. She's an experienced tourism and hospitality researcher, consultant, and academic with professional experiences in the field concerned. Her areas of interest and research focus on various issues within the tourism and hospitality management, including sustainable and responsible tourism, ecotourism, and tourism service experiences, sustainable human resource development, consumer behavior, qualitative and mixed methods research. She has published more than 50 journal articles, 7 books, and 12 book chapters and related to tourism and hospitality management. So that's a bit about her. Over to you, Jennifer. Let's get started.
Okay, thank you very much, Mohi, for a brief introduction. A very good morning to everyone. Welcome to the session, and thank you for joining us this webinar. My name is Jennifer Chan. Greeting from Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. Let me put out my screen first. Okay, can you see my screen, please?
Yes,
Yes.
we do.
Okay, thank you. So I'm actually from, currently, I'm the head of Tourism Economy Cluster, Center of Economy Development and Policy, University of Malaysia, Sabah. That for us to understand this sustainable ecotourism destination, what we need to question ourselves, what it takes to ensure ecotourism continue to grow in a sustainable manner. And to do that, we need to understand, to get a basic understanding, what is ecotourism destination, how do we manage and stage ecotourism experiences, and what is sustainable destination. And all these actually contribute to the sustainability of ecotourism and its destination. And today, when we talk about sustainability, is critical in the post-pandemic era, and it is also aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals in many ways. Yeah. So to begin with, I'd like to share with you the 4 important components when we talk about sustainable destination management. First of all, we need to understand the place and its context. So every ecotourism destination is a unique and protected area that have a wide range of nature attractions. And this make up the unique ecotourism experiences. Second element is the local community, which is the key and also the guardians for the sustainable destination. They are the ones that play a very important role, which is equally important with the tourism provider, which is number 4. In terms of collaborations, the partnership in making the destination more sustainable. And of course, the third component is our guests or our tourists, which has different needs, expectation, motivation coming to the destination. Yeah. So when we talk about ecotourism, sustainable ecotourism, we need to understand the places itself together with the elements of sustainable destination management. Yeah. So next, let's look at what is ecotourism destination briefly. We know a place or tourist destination consists of micro and macro environment. And this is a very complex social system formed within the ecotourism destination. And it consists of many individuals, tourism product offering, different types of experiences and the resources that combine to form a total sustainable experiences of the area where the tourist visited. Yeah. And the destination is often being concerned in terms of overcrowding, climate change, um, market trend, changing of consumer behavior, government policy, and procedure. All these will shape the quality, the uniqueness of the ecotourism destination. Yeah. So from here, I like to share with you from the supplier and the demand perspective, right? So we know that from the supply side, we are looking at ecotourism destination. We're looking at the stakeholders perspective. So often we tend to focus the destination as a protected, rich in nature resources, but less focus on sustainable, the concept of sustainable destination or sustainable practices. And more importantly, we need to understand that at the ecotourism destination, how do we stage authentic ecotourism experiences, the concept of co-creations, the human dimension in terms of collaboration, the governance, and the guideline at this ecotourism destination. Whereas from the demand side, tourist behavior and market trend is very important, especially tourist needs, motivation, and more so today, ecotourists tend to look for experiencing, learning, more individual and authentic traveling. Yeah. So let's look at sustainable ecotourism destination in brief. Right, we know ecotourism destination provide experiential product. Right, that experiential product is considered as a authentic experiences that consists of 4 dimensions, which I will share with you later. But more importantly, let's look at the destination itself. Right, for it to be more sustainable, you need to have a responsible practice guideline or framework, human dimensions in terms of responsible practices, natural resources in terms of conservation, preservation. Yeah, these are a very basic understanding of sustainable ecotourism destination. So these slides give you a perspective of ecotourism destination that provide us tangible element. That is what we can see: physical attraction, unique lodges, forest, wildlife, local community lifestyle, different segments of ecotourists visiting the destination. Whereas there's another important aspect of it, which is the intangible aspect, that is the emotion or psychological aspect of the tourist that actually form the ecotourism experiences. We should understand that ecotourism destination or ecotourism is actually experiential product. Yeah. So this ecotourism experiences is actually very subjective, individualistic, is very emotional, spiritual, and very intellectual types of uh, to describe the ecotourism experiences. Yeah. So how do we manage and stage ecotourism experiences? First of all, we need to understand the tourist experiences consist of cognitive and emotive aspect. The cognitive is the learning, the education using our mind and brain. Emotive aspect is the feeling, is the perspective of the tourist. It means the social psychological aspect of the tourist, how they feel about their visit to that particular destination. So therefore, experiences comprise of individual behavior, perception, learning, feeling, expression. And all these will take in the form of co-creation. The experiences came from the co-creation of the tourists during their visiting, during their participation of the activity, during their learning about wildlife and enjoying the leisure activity. So in we will see that in terms of managing ecotourism experiences, the four important dimensions emerge. That means for us to manage and stage the ecotourism experiences, we need to take into the account of learning aspect, the novelty of the place, escape, and entertainment. Yeah. So to do that, I'd like to explain further how ecotourism experiences and co-creation concept happen at one time. So we know that experiential product that stimulate tourist senses, right? So eco-tourists will participate, engage, connect, and interact with local community and resources at the destination. So this form a co-creation experiences. So these co-creation experiences is very important for us to understand and for us to capture in delivering the service experiences. So some ecotourists may feel that learning is very important, just like the experiencing the environment, which is very unique. Others may feel that, less passive eco-tourist will say, no, I think, no, being in the place is good enough for me to enjoy the um, environment within the ecotourism destination. So what I'm saying is that in terms of understanding this ecotourist, the tour operator, the nature environment, the resources, and the local community attribute to form a very important ecotourism experiences. Simply, tour operator will deliver quality services and interact, connect, engage with the ecotourists. The ecotourists will actually participate, engage, connect with the nature, environment, the resources, as well as with the local community. Yeah. So to manage and to stage the ecotourism experiences, here are the four dimensions that I'm proposing to make the ecotourism more sustainable. First is the education. We know that ecotourists are often very active, participate and absorb into any activity during the trip. Their interaction with the environment, their thinking, their learning about the surrounding during their trips. Yeah. So education, learning about wildlife, learning about the dense forest, learning about local community lifestyle, which are very important for them as a experiential dimension. Second, escape. Ecotourism destination often considered as a unique environment for ecotourism to act very differently. That's what the environment is so important to attract one the tourists to come. So ecotourists are actually often escape looking for the escape experiences for them to immerse in the nature, which offer a new perspective um, and feeling very differently. Yeah. Third dimension is the aesthetic, where ecotourists feel and appreciate the appeal of the pristine natural environment. So this can entail feeling enjoyment, appreciation, fun, peacefulness, sensory pleasure. Yeah. And the final experiential dimension is entertainment. This is not what we define the so-called normal entertainment. The normal entertainment can come from a cultural dance, craft making, cooking, play music. Yeah. So all these four dimensions actually contribute to the positive experiences of ecotourism. Yeah. So moving on, I want to share with you, this is one of my research finding based on Lower Kinabatangan in Sabah, where I translate all the finding into this so-called equal tourism service experiential dimension framework, knowing that ecotourism behavior in such a way that there is an active participation or passive participation. So uh, in these slides, it shows four critical dimensions, which is education, as I mentioned earlier, learning wildlife, local culture, conservation, enhanced expertise in nature setting, curiosity. So this is a form of education. As we move on, the bottom one, escape. So often the place become a different place for the ecotourism to escape from their life, daily life, work life, being feeling in a different world, different from home country. That's why in the case of Lower Kinabatangan, the dense forest, the unique environment that make them wanted to come as a form of escape. And moving on, the third aesthetic, which in terms of Lower Kinabatangan, the Borneo rainforest scenery, the sense of peacefulness, the dense forest view, the amazing scenery of riverboat cruise, riverbank, these form a unique aesthetic experiential dimension of the ecotourism. Finally, entertainment is part of the wildlife viewing, cultural performance, riverboat cruises are considered as part of the experiential dimension in terms of entertainment. Yeah. So, in short, when we stage the ecotourism experiences, the most prominent dimension must include education, aesthetic, and escape. And clearly, ecotourism operator and managers often focus very much on tangible attribute, which is wildlife and nature and resources. Therefore, equally important, we need to focus on this dimension, that is education, learning, aesthetic to of the environment, to sustain special and unique place of the attraction. What I'm saying here is to make our the ecotourism as a form of experiences by using the dimension of education, aesthetic, and escape, um, besides the tangible attribute, which is the wildlife. Yeah. So for managing ecotourism, the dimension of education, aesthetic, escape, novelty, local entertainment are crucial part of your tour packages. Do not just focus on seeing the wildlife, um, going through the trip. That's it. Tourists are actually looking for these four dimensions. Staging ecotourism destination, therefore, will enable you to lead to a quality of experiences. And that quality of experiences should translate into experiential marketing. What is experiential marketing? Beside capturing the tangible, showing the wildlife itself, you also want to portray or demonstrate the intangible elements of the behavioral, the enjoyment, the feeling of the eco tourist while watching the wildlife. That will have a greater impact and will lead to a sustainability of the destination. Yeah. So what is quality ecotourism experiences? Yeah. So it can come from several sources. The first one is the natural resources, ecosystem, and conservation. So under here, we need to capitalize the wildlife, the endangered species, the jungle, the flora and fauna, the nature, the rare animals, conservation. Yeah, bear in mind, learning conservation activity has been acknowledged as one of the most important learning activity that, in fact, ecotourists are looking for besides the wildlife. Yeah. Second is the environment. The uniqueness of the environment being in the remote area, the environment that offer a unique, relaxing places. Yeah. Third, activity or facility provided. That in the sense of having fun activity, unique lodges, services, the equal lodge, the lodges that in terms of design, in terms of sustainable practices being carried out, those are considered as quality of ecotourism experiences. And when you look at the service quality, the friendliness, the safety, the knowledgeable guide, the tourist satisfaction that make up of service quality. And finally, cultural resources and local community where the cultural, traditional food, handicraft, local people, relationship with the local community, the lifestyle. That all these actually attribute to the quality of ecotourism experiences. So moving on quickly. So when we talk about sustainable ecotourism destination, we often talk about environmental, social, economy benefit, sustainability. However, the good governance, the collaboration and partnership of different stakeholders are equally important. Yeah. So just to show you the three dimensions, when we talk about environment, forest, plants, wildlife, mountain, social, we talk about local community, economy, business, jobs, income, opportunities. Yeah. So when we talk about sustainable ecotourism destination framework, we need to consider the local resident, destination resources, and tourists. And the tourist behavior and the needs and trend are changing. So for you to manage that, I've introduced the voice model tool, a quick way to check whether the destination, the sustainability of the proposed action. Yeah. This is taken from the Journal of Hospitality Management. So the four questions that you need to ask is any action or plan that you intend to introduce as a sustainable practices, you will ask this question: will this decision affect the visitor, the implication for the industry, affect the community, and what will be the impact on the destination environment and culture? Yeah. So if you are able to use these questions to assess any plans or action you are going to introduce at the ecotourism destination, this will give you a better understanding and the direction whether you should introduce or not. Yeah. So some indicator is also equally
Dr. Jennifer, your time is running out, may I
yeah,
request?
give me one more minute. So to do that, we need to build a strong partnership, also the indicator to measure. And here I'm sharing some of the best practices. You must have a clear goal. You must have a baseline sustainability, develop a platform to engage the business, share the report, and formal assessment and certification of the destination is needed. With that, thank you very much for your listening. All right, over to you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Jennifer. It was a beautiful explanation, and your teaching was very powerful. I think everybody who's been here really understood the value of your concepts, escape, education, and aesthetics. I think it's important to incorporate these value systems in ecotourism as we go along. The kind of structure that you have shown here is very important. I would invite you to do a longish webinar or series of webinars in future to break down the concepts and people adapt to these in their businesses or ecotourism outfits and their practices. Thank you very much. And
Sure.
now,
Thank you very much.
yes, thank you. I will quickly introduce Madam Kiki Ai, the next speaker here. Her topic is success story of Bagan in Myanmar. So World Heritage Site and community efforts for authentic ecotourism. And a bit about her, Madam Kiki Ai. Welcome to this platform, and thank you for agreeing to give a presentation today. Kiki Ai is a passionate consultant, an expert in responsible and sustainable tourism development. She had 15 years of active service as a senior assistant teacher in the Ministry of Education from 1979 to 1995. She transferred to the Ministry of Hotels and Tourism, where she served for 5 years until retirement as a director at the Tourism Promotion Department, responsible for international relations, tourism manpower, and MSME development. During her career as a senior tourism official, she represented Myanmar at regional and international workshops, meetings, seminars, trainings, conferences, and summits related to tourism development, human resource development, marketing investment, crisis management hosted in Myanmar for all ASEAN countries. Currently, she is recognized as a national project coordinator, tourism consultant, and tourism expert in internationally funded technical projects. Her tourism experience and extensive travels are valuable assignments to coordinate the projects, network with counterparts from public and private sectors, interpret the concepts in bilingual translations of documents related to tourism and related sectors. So that's wonderful, ma'am, and welcome to the AEN webinar series. Over to you, please.
Thank you, Mohitji. You've always been very kind introducing me. Mingalaba to all friends, colleagues, and interested participants from far and near. First of all, my due regards and thanks to AEN for excellent facilitation, allowing me to share knowledge on the topic I have chosen. Without further ado, allow me to go straight to my knowledge sharing. My presentation will cover Myanmar as a landscape for ecotourism, with the policy that we have and the documents which support for ecotourism development in a responsible and sustainable manner. And I will have an updated overview of the Myanmar tourism development. This will be very brief, and then I'll go on to Bagan landscape and ecotourism and the community efforts for tourism products and services, HRD, and tourism training for sustainability and responsibility in Bagan itself. And then, of course, I'll have a take-home message. Okay. So this will cover the responsible and sustainable tourism, documents we have, which relates to natural and sustainability, which is mentioned as we have in the this policy from the Ministry of Hotels and Tourism. And this is the outcome of the symposium which we had in 2016 before the COVID, of course, and it stands still in the ministry office and in the private sector as well. And that contains to preserve and conserve natural environment, traditional heritage and custom of the local people in order to sustain the development of tourism industry. And when we mention about tourism industry, it covers all types of tourism. And then that also very, very much ecotourism as well. And the last one is to develop sustainable and inclusive tourism. So these are the responsible and sustainable tourism documents, which we will have with the which we will have with the document on the Myanmar responsible tourism policy, which covers action points, altogether 58 of them, which are aligned to the aims, 9 aims of the Myanmar responsible tourism policy. And it's not just a policy, on the shelf. It's been implemented by the private sector, using other tools as well, and using other policies which will develop and enhance the sustainability of the sector as a whole. And in it is incorporated ecotourism. That's why we have the Myanmar Tourism Master Plan 2013 and 2030, which has 6 key objectives, and it moves on to the Myanmar Ecotourism Development Plan and the management plan itself. And the uniqueness of this plan is that it's not only for the tourism sector, but we have the collaboration from the Forest Department, which covers the a document as a multi-stakeholder document covering a range of identified protected areas for ecotourism. And then we have the guidelines for eco lodge, and especially in Bagan, we would find all that. Further to the Myanmar Tourism Master Plan, we also have, further to the ecotourism policy and management strategy, we also have the community involvement in tourism, and which developed into the readiness of the standards for community-based tourism. Overall, there is the Myanmar Sustainable Tourism Development Plan, and it runs to 2013. The Myanmar Tourism Strategic Recovery Roadmap is a review of the master plan which we have, and I have highlighted the immediate, medium, and the long term. In the immediate, it would be reassuring and inspiring the public to travel again and explore new experiences. And the experience in Bagan before COVID and after COVID is very demand oriented, and what we are able to supply in that area as well. And realign tourism destinations to the new normal. And of course, which is very important, is developing HR capacity and strengthening skills and knowledge in the new normal scenario. In the medium term, positioning Myanmar in the heart and minds of international travels. Right now, we are our products and services, we are developing. We are creating new ones as well on the existing one to the changing trends of the international travel. And then that also includes for ecotourism as well. In the long term, establishing a smart tourism ecosystem and digital infrastructure, which I will walk through when we are in Bagan, all right? And ensuring destination management in inclusive and in consultation with local stakeholders. So community involvement is very much there. And investing in developing and expanding the scope of inclusive and community-based tourism, as well as safeguarding the tourism resources and preventing negative impacts on social and natural environment. So this has been embedded in the MTSRR 2021 and 2025, and this has been in implementation since the post-COVID scenario. Next is on the health and safety protocol, which the ministry has developed, and the private sector is also implementing the Enhancing Myanmar Health and Safety Protocol, which is with guideline by the MOH, which is the health, and then also aligned to the WHO standards. If we look at the international arrivals, of course, I have highlighted here the 2019 one, which is 23% over the 2018 numbers. But you would also notice that we are also in that community where we are also being impacted by COVID and dropped as low as -79, but it's even less than that. And then 2022, it's gradually recovering, and the recovery has not met, of course, to the 2019 figures as yet, but nevertheless, the endeavors are being done with the public-private partnership. Now, if we look at, I'm going to take you all the way to Bagan landscape now. And the Bagan landscape is the topic of the webinar today. So I won't cover the other parts of the country. It's a very big country. So location and accessibility. So Bagan is located in Myanmar, which is in Mandalay Division, and it's easily accessible from Mandalay and Yangon. And if we go back to history, it was the capital city of the Bagan Kingdom, the first Myanmar kingdom from 2014 until 1292. Now, if we look at the weather part and the air quality, it's dry, and the air quality is extremely good. The population is, carrying capacity and all that matches, because the local population is just mere a little over 2,000. So as I mentioned about the travel access by air, by bus, by coach, private cars, train, and ship. And this is the culture part and the history part. We will notice that it's a very historic city, and it's well known as an archaeological paradise. Now, today, Bagan is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and having served as the capital of the Bagan Kingdom, that area is, we would have to mention it as an area that is well known for the 19th to 13th century period. The Bagan Plains alone itself has over 500 Buddhist temples, pagodas, and monasteries during the height of the kingdom, between the 11th to 13th century. That's the historical part. And today we have something like over 822 temples and pagodas, and they stand still, and it's a living tourism experiences there, living ecotourism experiences there, and living Buddhism experiences. Now, if we look at Bagan as a destination, we would notice that the zoning part is the Bagan Monument Zone, and then we have the archaeological zone. The reason I mentioned this is that the monument zone and archaeological zone are there, and then when we do the ecotourism, it would be in and around the cultural zone and the archaeological zone. So there would be less impact on the Bagan Monument Zone. Restoration efforts are very interesting because since we also have the impact of the climate change, and I have included this information to inform you that restoration efforts are being continuously implemented with the local funds, with the funds who are interested to do the renovation of the damaged border due to the earthquake as well as the Mocha storm. And recently, I like to share this information, is that everything has been completed since September, all that restoration work. And we have the PRC and India supporting, and of course, the experienced staff from the Ministry of Religious Affairs and Culture, and the tourism sector also has contributed with the community without any loss of the original form in its restoration efforts. So We look at some of those logistics as well in Bagan. We will look at availability of nearly 6,000 rooms. And we have the hotel, which are being licensed hotels of over 5,000 and licensed by the municipality of over 900 guest houses. This is the logistic part. And then, as I mentioned earlier about the safety, health safety, the protocol has accessed the hotel and guest houses, and they have got the regional level certificates as well as the national level certificates. So Bagan is a safe destination, health-wise, and easy accessible. Now, we are in Bagan now, and we would notice that Bagan, whoever is visiting Myanmar today, yesterday, and tomorrow, not miss visiting the Shwetakon Pagoda in Yangon. That's a unique icon there. And in Bagan, we would be visiting the pagodas and temple landscapes, and then, of course, the Inle Lake. So, and of course, the beach resources, the resorts that we have in our country. So if we talk about the experiential, the pagodas are for us to have that aesthetic experience, as well as the kind of a feeling is unique to Bagan because of the number of pagodas and the balloons over Bagan itself is an experience that cannot be missed. And the cruising part is another leisurely activity. It's not, it's exactly the kind of an experience which an ecotourism would allow. When we have this Visit Bagan tourism experience, the community involvement is very important. And when we go to Bagan, we enjoy the community involvement, especially at the pagoda festivals. And pagoda festivals is actually the unique place for meeting the pagodas, where you have people not only in Bagan, those people from Bagan, but people from all parts of the country, nearby and the outer range, come to Bagan itself. And the pagodas are numerous, and at each pagoda festival, there's time for that. Small business transactions are there, and people meet people to meet people. Visit Myanmar experience also would include the going by these non-motorized touring, which is quite unique without hampering the environment with the sound pollution. And these are the elements that we can find where it is not just touring as such, but it is giving to the local community with the touring resources that they have. So those people living by the pagodas are the people who are surviving for their families as well. So when we look at the Bagan experience also, it's not just as a group tour, but you can also have people, young people, going around the Visit Bagan, experiencing self-exploration among the Bagan area, Bagan temples and pagodas on their non-motorized vehicles. So this was taken as such, where we have also the Bagan Run, and that's one of the things that has been recorded as an area where you not only have aesthetic, it's very remote in one way, because there's so much of serenity there, while at the same time there is also the place where there can be wellness attached to the historical tour. And
ma'am, 4 minutes to go.
Yes, resourceful nature. And on the resourceful nature part, I'm going to focus on the lacquerware industry. So today, tourists can watch the skilled artisans as they work on the various stages of the 6-month or more of the process. Here, you would find that this is the resourceful nature where the workshops, which is the community-based, and they would be using the resources that is given to the Bagan community. Bagan lacquerware is detailed here as also flourishing between 11th to 13th century AD. And we would also have that it has its own evolution. And that evolution is something which is very typical in Myanmar. And this lacquerware is not just for display. It's very useful as utensils, as useful in the kitchen, useful for the art and craft component of the ecotourism. Now, we always talk about food as part of the ecotourism element, and having a healthy meal from the organic farms is what one of the restaurants there has been making it their specialty. A number of street food snacks also are there, and it's a target area, in fact, that we have the overland as well as by air Bagan visitors to Bagan. And here I have extracted, taken out some of those beautiful photographs, which I would like to share, is that border experience is that they come in from the India side, India-Myanmar, as well as from the Thailand, Myanmar side, and they have come through the borders, and visit Bagan is not an exception. They would not miss this. And we would find that here in the next also, the overland travel, they go through all this for the aesthetic feeling of being in Bagan, where there is so much of peace. This is a Ride to London motorcycle team 2018. And I noticed that it's an Adventures Overland Road to London 2018. I think this is a very interesting. And some of them would just be crossing the border. And some of them, they come by air and then they hire the vehicles in the country itself and cross over. So this is also a continuation of the overland tour of 3 countries, 1 destination. It's not just a group tours, but we also have a couple tour, and this one is a unique couple tour. Those days of 2011, when we had implemented the responsible tourism policy and the start of the Myanmar tourism master plan. Now, Bagan, of course, when we talk about bird watching also, we all know that Myanmar is home to 9 rare bird species. I won't name them, but I'm sure in the later part, in the other webinars, we will be able to go into that area as well. And here we, in Bagan itself, out of the 9 rare species that we find in the country, 7 of them are prominent in Bagan Nyau, especially in Lokan Manda Wildlife Sanctuary. And these are some of those, all of the 6 indigenous birds that we find in the area itself. And I'm sure those who are adventurous and the bird lovers, especially those who are doing research on birds, and there's a lot those who are from the university, this is the area where you can have it. So the park warden there has mentioned that there has been an increase in the birds population, and that itself means that the area is the ideal area, in fact, for the birds to be at not go extinct. And the HRD, that's the last part, the HRD initiatives. This is the area where the HRD is an important component for ecotourism, to have that sustainability and responsibility for not only the visitors, but also the host communities and the service providers. So this is the initiative. It's not only government-led, it's in partnership with the private sector training providers for housekeeping, for F&B services and production, and front office and language and awareness and knowledge sharing workshops and seminars. So this is a listing just for information sharing. And of course, there's a lot of room for improvement, and more webinars can be disseminated. And we have on board Myanmar participants on this webinar as well. This is a unique case study that I have done. It's in Bagan itself. The Sanan restaurant in Bagan has taken up this initiative to do changing lives, building future for Myanmar youth. And this is a project, and they've been training disadvantaged youths in hospitality and especially in English language, and finding them employment and then monitoring them for another 2 years so that they are able to integrate into the workplace. So we have trained up till now something like 226, and there's gender equality there. And the youths are from Bagan itself, Yangon, Mandalay, and Naypyidaw. So this is the last slide that I would have. Take-home message is that we have that inspiration of the communities of Bagan to work together, acquire knowledge, and indulge in innovative solutions to overcome our challenges. An application for digitalization and its potential to enhance teamwork in the workplace. And teamwork in the workplace is very important, especially in an area where we are promoting heritage tourism, ecotourism, authentic tourism, ecotourism, as well as the smart ecotourism destination. So seeking opportunities to replace quality service professionals at all levels is a current challenge, and we are overcoming, we are putting in the community efforts to overcome this, and motivation to new entrants on ecotourism different segments. So we have the street food and the handicraft making, digitalized technology is being used, new designs and motives. And then the need assessment for capacity building, carrying capacity of Bagan itself, and the trainees to gain multiplier effects in creating new products and services as smart for ecotourism destination. So of course, funding is required for small and micro and small business startups, and then the implementing body for the policy guidelines for Bagan as a smart heritage and ecotourism destination. So my acknowledgement to the contributors go to the private sector, Myanmar Tourism Federation, Myanmar Hotelier Association, Brightview Travels and Tours, Myanmar Voyages, Bagan Heritage Trust, Lamintip Restaurant, Sanan Restaurant, Ubanying Lakaware, Bagan House, Ever Stand Laka House, the Ministry of Hotels and Tourism, Naypyidaw and Bagan, and all my colleagues and friends. Thank you very much indeed. Mingalapa.
Thank you so much, Madam Kiki. It was fantastic, absolutely breathtaking presentation. And we saw the sights of Myanmar, of Bagan, the cultural values, the way you conduct it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And there was a lot of learning here for all of us. And thank you for sharing this. We'd like to go deeper into details of how to conduct tourism here with our outfits. As a bird watcher, I'm very intrigued, and I want to visit Myanmar as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank
you. So now we have the next speaker. Dinda, can you lower the screen, and then we will let me introduce Dr. Long to everyone. Thank you. So now our next speaker is here with us, and his title is Forest Welfare Services and the Trend of Ecotourism in Protected Areas. So I'd like to welcome Dr. Pham Hong Long, who's an associate professor and dean of the Faculty of Tourism Studies. in the University of Social Sciences and Humanities in Vietnam, Vietnam National University in Hanoi. He's also an adjunct lecturer of Rikyu University, Japan. He graduated from the Vietnam National University, University of Ottawa, and holds a PhD from the Rikyu University in Japan. His research areas include ecotourism, community-based tourism, sustainable tourism development, and tourism policies and governance in Southeast Asia. He is a leading consultant in sustainable tourism, community-based tourism, and ecotourism in protected areas in Vietnam for international organizations such as British Council Vietnam and a few others. Long Pham has recently received a research grant from National Foundation of Science and Technology on the topic of value, co-creation, and destination brand equity. He's a senior policy advisor in tourism planning and development in Vietnam. So that's a bit about Dr. Long. Dr. Long, I request you to start with your presentation now. You have 20 minutes to go. And then after that, we will take a short break of 2 minutes and then start with a question answer session. Thank you very much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So, in fact, I have problem with showing my full screen right now. So let me start with the not the full screen one. So my topic today is forest welfare service and the trend of ecotourism in the protected areas. So my name is Phạm Hồng Long, and actually I'm working as the Dean of the Faculty of Tourism Study under the University of Social Sciences, Vietnam National University, Hanoi, and I'm very happy to just sharing my knowledge about the ecotourism. In fact, my presentation, I thought that I have 30 minutes to talk, to share, but just now I know that I just only have 20 minutes, and that is challenging for me as well. So why this topic and why me? I just want to mention that I was born and raised up in the first national park in Vietnam, and I was born in 1976, but that park is established in 1962. So since then, I'm falling in love with the forest, and also I'm falling in love with ecotourism. And one time I was in that national park, and I went to the visitor center, and I see the window like this. On the window, it said that the biggest threat to Vietnamese forest and wildlife hide behind this door. Then when I open it and I see the human face, so it means that human being is the most challenging for and most threat to the nature. So that's why as a human being, I think I have a responsibility also to protect forest and protect nature. And when I was a student at the university, I also did ecotourism thesis in one of the national parks in Vietnam. It's Ba Bể National Park. And you can see my face when I was a student, and my face like 5 years ago. It's very different. So let me talk about the value of the forest ecosystem. We know that we have many forest have many value. It's very important for us to aware that forest not only have direct value such as raw material and other physical products such as wood, firewood, non-timber forest product, but also forest having another value such as indirect values. Maintaining and regulating water sources, reducing floods, controlling erosion, and absorbing carbon. For example, like I always like tell about a joke that if you see my head and my hair, it's like it's like a forest, but without very I mean, like it's not fully covered. But when I draw the water into my head, then the water can come down to my feet very fast. But if my hair having more and it's a very thick one, so when I pour the water on my head, it can slowly go down to the fish. So that's why the forest is very important. And the third one is option value. Forest ecological function are included in recreation and also agriculture application and so on. And we can see the value of the forest as a residual value, the values that future generation will be able to use, whether they are direct or indirect. And last but not least, about the existing values that is in terms of the culture, history and heritage, inheritance and aesthetic. So the next one.
May I request you, Dr. Long, to press F4 or F5? Then we will have.
Oh yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are the forest welfare services? This term is actually based on the Forest Welfare Promotion Act of Republic of Korea. I think the Korean Republic Welfare Promotion Act, they are the first organization define this term. So beyond that, they refer to social and cultural services for the population based on the forest and forest resources that aim to improve health and the well-being of the human. So it means that forests try to support us, improve our health and the well-being. So what is the main type of the forest welfare services? So according to many scholars, so the forest welfare services, including 5 types. The first one is forest therapy, or we can call healing. The second one is forest recreation. And the third one is forest education. And the fifth one is forest culture. And the fifth one is the forest sport activity. So I just try to point out that 5 welfare services in the forest. We have to aware that, and based on that we can try to making the ecotourism product for the destination. So the first one is the forest therapy. What is the forest therapy, or we can call healing? It including the practice to promote human health and enhancing human immunity by using natural forest element. And it is effective for the prevention and treatment of disease and to increase the life expectancy. So the many activity of the forest healing, such as the forest bathing, herbal therapy, aromatherapy, physical therapy, or meditation. I just want to give example about the forest bathing. This actually from Japan, because Japanese people call it Shinjin Yoku. It try to support human being 5 senses. We can go to walk and enjoy the nature. And for example, if we just go under the tree and in the forest 50 minutes, we can enhance our sleeping time to 2 hours. So that is one kind of therapy. It's very popular in Japan, and nowadays expand to other country in the world. I mentioned the forest bathing try to support tourists to fuel tourism resources with 5 senses. For example, eyes, ear, and nose, tactility, and mouth. And we can see some example here. For example, in terms of eye, we can see the nature, mountain, river, sunset, right? Ear, we can listen to the sound, the waterfall, stream, wild animal, and so on. and there's the like nose, tactility, and mouth as well. Second one is forest recreation. It includes a variety of activity for the relaxation, passive or active, to restore and strengthen a person's physical and mental strength in the forest environment. So this kind of we can see many activities such as staying in the forest resorts and huts, camping, walking, swimming, sun and air bath, and game. And the next one is forest education. It includes a variety of activity to raise awareness of the importance of forest and to understand their various useful functions through visits and learning in the forest or spending time in them to build a personal experience. Here, I would like to give an example. In the US, they have the note, and they call it passport to the national park in USA. Everyone, if go to the forest, they bring this passport, and in each national park, they stamp this passport to certify that you have been there and done that, and by that you falling in love with the nature and also falling in love with the national forest. That's why it's a kind of certificate very popular in USA. And in the Vietnam, there is one kind of forest education, because you know that in Vietnam, hunting and killing the animal is very popular. So nowadays in some national parks, they try to have some campaign. Example, here in the Cúc Phương National Park, they have the campaign to release the animal which was caught and also tried to kill by the forest hunting people. So this campaign is called so-called going home, that he released the animal. Here is you can see the forest chicken and also the birds. That campaign to raise up the people awareness about the importance of forest. And here's another example. I'm taking a picture with one of the very famous person in Vietnam. He's a person who discovered the longest and the biggest cave in the world. His name is Ho Khanh. He's actually the forest bandit. Before he just go to forest to try to kill and to hunt the animal and also the fauna and flora. But later on, when the park ranger try to convince him to become a park ranger, and he become the park ranger. But when he worked as a park ranger, people know that he have many talent in terms of knowing many kind of animal and fauna and flora in the forest. So they asked him to be a tour guide. And when become the tour guide, he become a symbol of many forest tour guide in Vietnam, because he from the bandits to a tour guide, and he tried to persuade many people to falling in love with the forest. This one as well, he's a forest bandit to become a tour guide. A very interesting story about him. He can whistle 200 type of bird calling, and everyone when we came to the national park, we falling in love with him because he can call the bird to come out and playing and singing in front of the tourists. And the next one is forest. Another kind of forest service is forest culture. It includes various culture events such as music, dance, and art workshop, reading factories, and spiritual activity related to forest. For example, visiting the unique nature sites in forest, enjoying beautiful and symbolic and inspiring forest view, and more. And last, but as I mentioned, there are 5 types of forest service. This is the last one, the forest sport activity. Of course, in the forest, we can do a lot of activities such as skiing, hunting, fishing, surviving, photo tourism, and forest, and many more. So this is now become very popular in Vietnam. For example, in one of the national park in the southern part of Vietnam, they organize the train running to support money for rescue the elephant. And a lot of runners coming here to do trail, and then later on support rescue the elephant. So now I just want to move to the ecotourism trend, not only in Vietnam but in the world as well. We can see after the COVID-19, there are many kind of trend of travel appear here based on many different journal and magazine. For example, you can see the first one is called the Nat Traveler, is the most famous one magazine in terms of tourism travel in the world. And they say that there are some type of travel trend appearing: workation, private island, glamping, no fee charges, many types. And another magazine and also journal, they talking about different trend of travel. But later on, we also aware that responsible and sustainable and conservation is nowadays become very popular. It means that forest and ecotourism also popular after the COVID-19. And why ecotourism? Because after the COVID-19, there are many types of trend of travel, such as domestic, microcation, staycation, flexcation, workation, and other as well. But ecotourism is booming in Vietnam because of it is very unique and extraordinary. When we come to the nature, it's very unique and extraordinary. And second one, it's very small. When we organize the tour to the nature, it's normally small. Yes, it's very beautiful because we attach with the nature and we feel that nature surrounding us is very beautiful. The next one is it raise up the people self-actualization. And last but not least is we have to pay more money because we go with small group, but they pay less attention to the less worry. So that is ecotourism trend is now booming. And of course, ecotourism also meets the trend that it coming from brown to the green. Before people just go to the beach, the city, so it's the brown one. But when we go to the forest and nature, it's green. And ecotourism is also kind of the tourism converting from mass to small and isolated. And of course, when we go with the mass tourism, it is fast, but when we go with ecotourism, it is slow. And ecotourism is allow us to deeply feel in the nature as well. So in the Vietnam, we have 4 kinds of tourism product. And the second one is the nature one and ecotourism. That's why ecotourism in Vietnam is very important. Besides that, we also have the sea and island tourism. We have urban tourism and we have cultural tourism. But nature-based tourism and ecotourism is one type of tourism product we are focusing now. And I would like to know that how many minutes I have more.
You have only 5 more minutes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I just want to briefly introduce about the PA in Vietnam. In Vietnam, we rank number 16 most diversity rich country in the world. But sadly, many international organizations, they said to Vietnamese people that the Vietnam is very diverse, but we have less number of animal and type of animal and tree, because whenever we go to the forest, we even have the tiger, we have elephant, but the number of tiger and elephant and other animal very few. It means that we have diversity, but the number of the animal is very few. Vietnam is also one of the most important biodiversity ecosystem in the world, especially in the forest ecology and mangrove forests. And we are one of the richest country in agro biodiversity beyond the USAID research. The PA in Vietnam, we use PA with the term special use forest. Currently, we have different types of special use forests, such as national park, natural reserve, species and habitat conservation area, landscape protected area, and experimental and scientific research area. That is type special use forest or PA in Vietnam. And see here is the number of the PA in Vietnam. You can see we have like 33 national park. We have 57 nature reserve. We have 12 species and habitat conservation area. We have 53 landscape and protected area, and we have 9 experimental and scientific research area. For national park, we have some belong to the central government, and most of the national park and protected area is belong to the local government. We call central government, we call MAS, Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. But most of the national park and protected area, as I said, belong to the people, provincial people committee. And Vietnam is also a country with national forest reducing by the time, by many reasons, than population, poverty, war, climate change, environmental pollution, infrastructure development, hunting, setting trap and burning forest and cutting tree. That is challenging for Vietnam as well. Here is some fact and figure about ecotourism in Vietnam. The most popular destination in Vietnam in terms of ecotourism is Phong Nha Kẻ Bàng. Like last year, they have they get more than 20 billion Vietnamese dong. It's around 1 million US dollar. But that is the most attracting forest in Vietnam. This is some picture of another forest in Vietnam. Here, the Cúc Phương National Park, the first national park in Vietnam where I grew up on. Actually, I would like to have provide more information, but due to that, I have small little time, so I just want to just introduce a little bit about the picture. This is a Cat Tien National Park in Vietnam, where we can see the wildlife in direct. It's I think a very rare destination in Vietnam. You can see the wildlife in direct. We can see this cow, white cow. And this very special area in Vietnam, we have the first IUCN green list in Vietnam and the first one in Southeast Asia, as I know. And nowadays in the world, we have around more than 50 areas belong list into the green list, but Vietnam having one, the Phong Nha Kẻ Bàng National Park. And this is my almost last slide. For ecotourism product, we know that we have same in many destinations, but if we want to have the different product, it depends on creativity and interpretation. That's why, like when I came to Malaysia, I see some ecotourism product same like in Vietnam, but they know how to make it creativity and also interpretation. Ecotourism normally go with a beautiful slogan, such as leave nothing but footprint, take nothing but photograph, kill nothing but your time. But be careful, because ecotourism is maybe becomes the victim of its own success. That is my last slide. Thank you very much for listening to me. And if you have any question, just drop me a note. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Long. It was a beautiful presentation, and it took us to parts of Vietnam with your value systems. I think it was very informative, and I understand that 20 minutes for everybody's presentation wouldn't do justice to all the information that you want to give out to the people who are here. Nevertheless, it just opens up the doors for more curiosity, to learn more and to know more. And it starts the pattern of discussion and interrogation. So I think all three webinars that the speakers gave here were absolutely jaw-dropping, and each one of you have done a wonderful job. I understand that a lot of work goes in the background, behind the scenes, to set up the webinar, to prepare the presentations, to assimilate the data. And I'd like to thank Dinda, who has worked very hard on curating this webinar. I'd like to give a 3-minute break to everyone, just to get a cup of coffee or use a toilet or stretch the legs. And then we will start in 3 minutes again with our question and answer session. Is that okay with everyone? Right. Thank you. Okay, welcome back, friends. We'll start with our question and answer session. But before we do that, I'd like everyone to stay right till the end, because Tinda will share a link with all of you, which you can fill up. And once you fill that up, she will process your e-certificates and a thank you note for attending these webinars. I'd like people to raise their hands if they have a question, and then I will ask the person to ask a question. If you've got a question that you want to write down, you can do that in the chat as well, and I'll be happy. Please mention when you're writing who is this question for, and if you're raising your hands, I'll give you your turn, and you can then speak and address the speaker while you ask your question. Thank you. Do raise your hands if you've got questions. Dr. Long, would you like to say in Vietnamese to your audience, if they've got questions, you can they can ask you.
Thank you. So may I speak in Vietnamese, right?
Yes, please. Yes,
Okay.
please.
I'm sorry. Nếu các thầy cô, các anh chị em người Việt Nam có câu hỏi gì cho các diễn giả, trong đó có cả mình, thì mọi người cứ gõ vào cái khung chat hoặc là giơ tay lên hỏi luôn trực tiếp cũng được, thì mọi người cứ trao đổi rất là tự nhiên, thoải mái. I'm sorry, I already convert your request to all Vietnamese delegates and people here, because if they would like to ask any questions, they can ask everyone, every presenter.
No, I understand that. And I think what we can do is also drop our email IDs in the chat box for people to write to you directly. A lot of people will come up with questions directly for you.
Okay. Thank you. Có cái, xin lỗi mọi người là có cái email của cái mạng lưới này, nên là mọi người, nếu mà mọi người có câu hỏi gì thì mọi người có thể hỏi thông qua email, nếu mà trong cái buổi này không có câu hỏi trực tiếp. Còn lại thì cái website của họ cũng có đấy, nên là mọi người có thể truy cập vào cái website của họ nếu mà quan tâm đến cái mạng lưới này về lâu về dài.
Well, Dina, in the meantime, you can also share the link, which people.
Yeah. I'm sharing right now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of Vietnamese here, I think.
So we have a question from Hanur. He's asking, is there special funding and a role for the government in efforts to support ecotourism sustainability? Who would like to answer this? May I request Professor Jennifer to answer this question?
Can I have the question first? Sorry.
Yes. The question is there special funding and a role for the government in efforts to support ecotourism sustainability?
Wow, thank you, Mohi. I think this is a critical question. In the context of Malaysia, we are actually moving towards sustainable ecotourism. There is no specific funding. However, funding will be available subject to the proposal. So from time to time, if your proposal is actually contribute and the outcome has the great impact on the sustainability of the destination, yes, you can actually approach to Ministry of Tourism and some other government agency as well. Case like this, like 2 weeks ago, I did upskilling and workshop on wildlife tourism guidelines and sustainable ecotourism practices at the Lower Kinabatangan. And based on that proposal, the Ministry of Tourism State actually provide us a funding to get, this is a collaboration within UMS and Kinabatangan Tourism Association. Yes, thank you. I hope-
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was a useful answer. We have another one for Madam Kiki Ai. It says, good afternoon, speaker. The presentation given was very interesting. I'm Rafiki from Indonesia. Sustainable tourism is very important in organizing and developing ecosystems and tourism life, where all institutions must be present and participate in it, with the aim to obtain long-term opportunities. The question is, how does Myanmar create and manage environmentally friendly products? What goes into planning? And what is the pattern for uniting sustainable tourism into one integrated system, which is transportation, accommodation, law, and tourism products? You'll have to unmute yourself. Yes,
Yeah, I
thank you.
have done so. Thank you very much for this question. I think that will take me another half an hour if I really go into deep detail. But then quickly, I would say that I don't know if I would be able to answer your question in short form, but in order to have the, how to create and manage environmentally friendly products, that's the key, And if I may refer to the value chain analysis that I have done in Bagan, I'm talking about Bagan only, and that value chain itself is multi-stakeholders involvement was there. And we've got the ecotourism policy and management strategy. And so that part, the component which relates to the creation and management of the environmentally friendly products, as you have mentioned, and also into the one integrated system has been discussed. And one of the key, priority that has been done is to conduct business management trainings, which we are still continuing in Bagan, because we've got senior trainers, certified trainers, and they've been doing that, and they've been moving on to the production, food production. I'm sure you're aware of the SCORE HOCO, and this is what they have done. SCORE is sustainable competitiveness of responsible enterprises, and HOCO is hospitality cooperation. So and that's one part. And another part I would like to mention is that according to the Myanmar tourism law, very recently, 2018, before the COVID, we have the three platforms, or you can call it the three institutions with embedded in the law itself, where we have the high level, and the high level, which the Deputy Prime Minister is the chair. And in that committee itself, we've got the chief ministers from each region and states. And Bagan is with Mandalay. So to have that planning done, it's the destination management organization as such, and the it's multi-sectoral, because ecotourism in Bagan, for example, to manage that, it's not only the Ministry of Tourism, Hotels and Tourism as such. It is the we have the Department of Environmental Affairs. We also have the Forest Department because of sanctuaries there, and then a wildlife sanctuary there. We also have the Culture and Religious Affairs, and also the municipality. So it's very broad, and it's very intricate, and it has got to have an integrated network. So this is just one, may answer all or may just answer part of it. If you have any more question or if you want more details, I can support you. Thank you very much.
That was very well articulated, Madam. It was, the value chain that we talk about is the key to creation of various components in the entire system of ecotourism. What we see here in a lot of places where NGOs are working with the communities for conservation, they are not meeting success so soon because of the absence of the business angle, which the ecotourism can bring in. So while the NGO must work on conservation, the business side should also be brought in with the experts, where ecotourism, the communities and the species and the flora and fauna will win together. If otherwise it becomes a lopsided approach. And the government, when it steps in to take this on, it's a lot of hard work, but they're the ones who can steer it the fastest. So thank you for sharing that. I think it was very meaningful.
Thank you very much.
And we've got any more questions, friends? If there are more questions coming in, I'd like to stay. Otherwise, I'd like to ask people to Dinda, can you put that link, please, where people can avail the e-certificates. Friends, we've got this form here. Fill up the form, click the form, fill it up. It will come to us and we will send you e-certificates. If we don't have too many questions now, we'll let the speakers go, and they're very busy people, so they have to get on with their daily chores. So thank you very much for being here and making this a huge success. This has been one of the most elaborative and very successful webinars of AEN, and I really thank all three of you and our team and all the visitors to have put in a huge amount of effort. Thank you, Masaru-san, for guiding us and motivating it. Thank you very much.
Mohi, can we have a group photo?
Oh yes, please.
Yeah. Please open the cameras on.
Yeah.
Please put your cameras on. Try once more. Put your camera on. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
People are still coming in. Friends, please put your cameras on. We'll take a photo together.